What's up, you guys? Today on this episode of Taylor Bares Her Soul to a bunch of strangers for no reason. I cracked myself up. Hilarious. I'm hilarious. Do you guys know how funny I am? I'm so funny. Like, I'm so funny. Tell me I'm funny. No, but I really wanted to talk about something that's been huge in my life. Huge. I really want to talk about my experience in therapy and what I've learned, because it has been ridiculously transformational for me and just amazing, and I just want to share it with the world. Scream it from the rooftops. Yeah. Forgive me, I am a little bit sick today, so I have a little bit of a cold. I feel like right now to say you have a cold is like complete social suicide, but I'm just congested, so I hope that doesn't like make the video gross. I'm also on some meds, so I'm probably being pretty kooky right now. Pretty kooky, pretty kooky. Oh my gosh, is my phone really on loud? Have I really done that? Let me go turn it on silent. So what I'm going to share today are 5 lessons that I learned from hella therapy. The reason that I first sought out therapy, it was like over 2 years ago now, was because I thought I was bipolar. I came up in her office, I sat down, she was like,
"Hi, why are you here today?"
I said, "I am bipolar, ma'am. Help me." And she was like,
"Hold on a second. We don't know that, so let's just talk it out."
And basically the reason I thought I was bipolar was because I had these like serious shifts in mood where I'm generally a really happy, really upbeat, really like bubbly person. That's my general demeanor. And it's actually, like, I think in terms of like the regular human level of bubbliness, I'm like naturally up here, where people are like most people are here. So that made me feel kind of crazy that when I was happy, I was like so happy. And then I would go in these periods of really dark sadness, and it would just come like a wave, and I would just go down into these pits of sadness, and I couldn't explain why, and everything sucked, and my life sucked, and it was just so dark and sad, and that sucked. It was really hard, and I realized that like for a long time in my life, basically like my whole adult life, this would happen. So I would be happy, and then I would go into this pit of sadness for like a week or two, and then I would like come out of it one day and I would feel better. And I thought that was being bipolar. So she was like,
"I'm not diagnosing you as bipolar or anything else without knowing you for like at least a few months. Let me talk with you and figure out what's going on."
So I saw her for a couple months, and we were like tracking when I would get down, and we like started going into it. She would ask me, you know, what happened in detail of like the day before I started feeling down, the week before, like the moments before it, like we started going into detail about it. And basically I realized that there were specific things that were triggering me to go into this downward spiral. I might have made somebody else mad, or I might have performed poorly at work, or I don't know, just something would have happened that would have caused me anxiety. I would let that eat away at me because I'm so sensitive. Like, I was that girl in school who, like, if the teacher said one bad thing to me, I would cry. Like, if she was literally like, "Taylor, be quiet," I would cry. Any kind of time that anyone expressed any sort of unhappiness with me in any way, I would just like well up with tears and get so sad. I'm just such a sensitive person. And the same goes for me in my adult life. You know, it just manifests in different ways, so I don't just like start crying immediately because I've gotten a hold over that. But I do go into these pits of despair when I feel like I fucked up, basically. Now, when I start feeling these depressive ways, which I still do because I'm still sensitive and I don't have a total control over my emotions and stuff, but I can start to look at what happened this week. What kind of conversations did I have this week? What did they make me feel? What was the deal? And I can pinpoint, oh, this thing that happened made me feel anxious and it put me into this cycle. So to be able to pinpoint that is amazing, and then to also just know, hey, I'm not bipolar. That was really cool. All right, I'm not bipolar. Fab. Great. Good to know. I'm so happy. But then what came next is like, all right, well, so I have these down days and I feel sad and I don't want to feel sad. So now I have anxiety about, I don't have anxiety about the thing that caused me to feel sad. Now I just have anxiety about the fact that I am sad, right? So, you know, I would come in and I would say to her, I just had such a bad few days. Like it was just awful. This sucked and this sucked and this sucked, you know, everything's horrible and I'm sad. And she would be like,
listen, you're a human and humans have bad days.
we have such an aversion, and you know what? It's not only natural. We don't like bad, sad things. Of course we don't like it, you know? But at the end of the day, it's what we got. So what my therapist really taught me is that we need to just live and coexist with these bad days. It's okay. It's okay. So you had a bad day. Okay? You had a bad day. And? So you had a bad week. You had a bad week. You had a bad month, you had a bad year. You have bad times, and that's just our life, and that is okay. Ready for my motivational quote? You ready? Put this on a poster in an office somewhere. Don't mistake your bad days for a bad life. I think it was Gandhi who said that. I'm just kidding. But really, play this into actually the moments when you're feeling bad. Okay, you're feeling bad, so feel bad. Cry. You know what I do? Now, I put on playlists of sad music and I sit in the dark and I sob. I sob. I literally watch YouTube videos, and I know I'm not the only one who does this because there are tons of YouTube video compilations of things that will make you cry. I'm meant to feel sad sometimes, or else I wouldn't. So I just feel it. I have lived abroad for almost 5 years now, and that has been hard, and it was a kind of crazy thing to do. It was a crazy decision to make, to move across the world, and I guess maybe even more crazy seeming to stay. I remained pretty close with a lot of my friends back home, and I would come to my therapist and I would just be like, oh, I always wanted to travel. I wanted to move far away. I never wanted to just like join the rat race in America and just be that person who did that. And so that's why I've lived here, but I see this friend and she has this job, and I see this friend and she just did this big thing and this milestone and this thing that they're doing and that thing that they're doing, blah, blah. And my life is just so different, and I'm worried that it's not okay. And she's like, she is in my therapist. We're just calling her she now. She was like,
You just started that sentence by saying, I chose this thing because it was what I wanted to do. And then you ended it by saying, think that it's not what you should do because other people are doing something differently.
what the fuck is that? And she was like,
There's always going to be people who are doing things differently from you. And there's going to be people who are doing things that make you feel like what you're doing is not good. But do you want to live authentically or not?
do you want to do what you want to do? Or do you want to do what other people want you to do? Or what you think that other people want you to do? Right? So I was like, huh. Interesting. Okay, cool. All right, I'm gonna live authentically. And she's like,
The thing about living authentically is, it's not easy.
I'm like, okay, whatever. So back when I was still with my ex, we were gonna move to England because he was from England. Now, I didn't know what I was gonna do for a job in England because I just didn't know that. And I had a conversation with one of my friends, and I was like, we're moving to England. I was really excited about it at the time. And she was like,
what are you gonna do for a job?
and I was like, I don't know. And she was like,
Well, aren't you worried about that? Aren't you stressed out about the fact that you don't have a job? Can Americans get jobs there? What are you gonna do?
and she freaked me the out. All of a sudden, this thing that I was excited about, because of her perception of it, which, I mean, at the end of the day, I think that probably came from her own insecurities about the fact that if she was gonna do what I was doing, it would have stressed her out. But I let that get into my space. And I was like, oh my gosh, she's right. What am I thinking? Why would I just move somewhere without having a job? This is crazy. What an idiot I am. Went to my therapist, told her about that, and she was like,
Do you want to move to England?
I was like, yeah. And she's like, well,
Do you want to get a job right away?
I was like, no. And she's like,
Well, if you then do that. Do that then.
that's living authentically. And you have to be able to have a really tough skin if you want to live authentically and you want to do exactly what you want to do. It's going to be hard. I realized like I basically lived my whole life really caring a lot about what other people thought about me, and I just like so desperately wanted to be liked. If I heard that someone had anything bad to say about me, it would literally, sensitive girl, ruin my month, like maybe even my year. Not ruin my year, but you know what I mean. I would think about it all the time and always come back to it. And on the other side, if I heard that somebody said something good about me, it would like help me sleep at night. Like it was everything to me that someone had a compliment to say about me. Oh my gosh, how toxic is that? You have to get your happiness from within, of course. And I wasn't doing that for so long, and my therapist was just like,
You know, you come in here a lot. Your issues are to do with this person and that person and the other person. And you just need to focus on yourself, girl. Get your life.
I always felt that I was an outsider because I grew up in an all-white community and I was half black. I didn't really feel like I fit in to the lives of all my friends and my peers that I saw all the time when I was out. And so what that resulted in was a kind of really desperate wanting to be liked, because anytime that I was liked, it meant that I was being accepted by this world that I thought that I didn't fit into. So I was craving that, and I really wanted that to be liked because it signified a lot more. And that just carried on into my adult life where I was always feeling the need to be liked. Ta-da! Hello, past to present. Also, a lot of it does have to do with my identity and my race and being black and being mixed race, and in terms of like my flaws is, I don't know, flaws is such a negative word. I don't want to call them that, but what else do we call them? You know, stuff that I would like to improve. To be improved aspects of Tay-Tay. For that same reason, when I was younger and I lived in inner city Philadelphia, where it was a really diverse place, I was so open and just carefree. And then when I moved to this other town where all of a sudden I was one of very few people of color, I became very shy and quiet because I felt that I didn't belong. As I grew older, that still stayed the same, where I learned to be myself a little bit more, but I still was not confident in myself. I would still feel really shy, and I would still feel not like, if I'm presenting myself to someone, like I have confidence in the fact that I'm awesome and that that person should be lucky to speak to me or know me, which is how I feel now, which is so awesome, which I love. But I only started feeling that way after going to therapy and realizing why I had this like insecurity, and that was because of my past. So basically, yeah, your past has everything to do with your present, and it is not fun. I repeat, it is
Not fun.
bringing up past traumas. No, it's not. However, it's so important for our healing and our growth. Open, heal, hurt, mend, grow. I'm seriously gonna have a career as a motivational speaker. So yeah, hire me for your next conference. Okay, you guys, that was my 5 things that I learned from therapy. Therapy is freaking awesome, and just, I cannot recommend it more. And a lot of people don't have access to therapy, and that's totally normal considering it costs a fortune. And in that case, be a therapist for somebody. All right, you guys, thank you for watching. That is it for me today. This has been real, super real. Like this video if you enjoyed it, and do please subscribe to my channel. Goodbye.